Why you got no sound?
My car don't have door.
My car don't have no door. You fall out when you drive? There we go. Now we have sound. Okay, anyway, so what I was saying, instead of my silent film that I was making just then, and you can add your own subtitles. What I was saying is we're going to do a baseband real quick, and then I'm going home. So I've done some pre-work. I knocked this chip sideways and bumped those little components under it, but I put all those back, so hopefully everything's good. That's my thumbs up right there. So we're going to take SIM tray off, take baseband off, run our jumpers, and hopefully the phone boots up and everything works, and yay, we're all happy. Alright, so first things first, let's take this SIM tray off. Put some flux where we're going to need the flux. And let's get to working on this. I'm going to move the scope back, but I'm going to pull the other camera down so you all can kind of see what I'm doing. Just kind of heating the board, nothing crazy, spectacular. Alright, so just heating this up. I want to keep moving, keep the heat moving around the board. I'm trying to protect the CPU just in case for some reason the other one I heated the CPU up, but I removed the shield and looked at it and there was no solder balls or anything anywhere around CPU, nor was there around the NAND, but something was fucked up, so we're going to take some precautions here and just kind of keep some of the heat off of areas that we don't want it. So I'm going to heat this up for a little while. It's going to take a second to get up to temperature. Mostly I'm just heating up the metal shielding and the pins. That's about the only thing that you need to get hot. Everything else will kind of melt when it's ready to go. If you have your temperature too hot, you'll melt your plastic right away. If temperature's too low, you'll be here for 17 years heating up the board. So find a happy medium that works. There's no set temperature that works for everybody. Somebody I'm sure will ask. I'm not going to be looking at chat for a little while because I kind of need to pay attention to this, but just going to grab this corner of the SIM tray. When it's ready, there it goes, it's starting to lift up. I'm just doing a little up and down movement on the SIM tray. For some reason, it seems if you agitate the solder when it's close to its melting point, it tends to come up a little faster. I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on it, I just want to kind of move it up and down just to try to get the solder to melt. It's almost there. All our pins are melted. The main side that's not melted is the side near the CPU, which is not uncommon because it takes a little more heat over there. Okay, I'm going to grab on that side. Alright, here it comes. Come on, baby. Come off there. It's not wanting to come off in one piece. Alright, so we're going to have to pull a SIM tray off another model. For some reason this back pin, which is ground, which makes sense, it's not wanting to melt, so I'll have to snag this off another board. Which is fine. I'd rather, I can lay heat to the other board. This one I don't want to put so much heat on it. Alright, so SIM tray is off. Coin's hot. So that pin right there was the one that was kind of holding this back, but it's okay, we got our tray off. Let's flood it with some leaded solder, and I'll grab a tray off of another phone since this one fell apart. Alright, so let's add in our leaded. The reason we're adding leaded solder is to reduce the melting temperature, so when we go in here to wick, it's not such of a pain in the dick that it can be with the lead free. Because we want to try to get this down pretty close to flush. That way when we go back in to place our new one, the new one will sit down on its pads correctly. Okay. There we go. Everybody is cleaned up and looking good. Why did I take the tray off? I'm running a jumper under it. There's a test point under here for the GPS sync line that I need access to. You can run it to the VIA, but so far I don't know if my experience is different than anybody else's, but the short jumpers for me just don't ever seem to last. They'll get signal back, but in real world use they always fail again. And I think it has to do with the proximity of the jumper to the actual pad. If the flexing is occurring, if it's a short jumper that's right there where there's no give in the actual jumper itself, in my experience from the touch ICs, the short jumper is just not very, it's too rigid and has no give, so it tends to break. So that's why I tend to run the long jumper here. And that long jumper is going to go to, let's see if we can get that in focus for you. It's going to go to this pad right, I think it's this one right here. So that's the pad we're jumping to. Do I charge a lot for this? Yeah, fair amount. About 100, 125. Not a crazy amount, but enough that it's lower than the cost of an insurance claim, but also at the same time it's not like ridiculously cheap. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and move down here to the baseband. This is the part that you have to make sure that you thoroughly melt your solder. You don't want to get any type of lifted pads may happen, but you want to try to minimize the chance of that. So you want to make sure that your temperature is good for pulling the chip. You only get paid $40 for a touch IC. Why the fuck are you not doing it for more? $40 is nothing. $40 to remove the chip, run the jumper, put the chip back on? I'm good. Not for me.
Not for Chris.
Doesn't seem like it's worth the time invested. I mean, Apple charges $150 for the same repair, and their repair doesn't last. So alright, baseband is off. We'll let baseband cool. Let's see if we lifted any pads. Nope, we look good. Okay. So I'm going to let baseband cool off there, off to the side a little bit. So all I did is heated that until it moved for me, and then I picked it straight up off the board. Price is $150, but you only make 40 of it? Why? Are you outsourcing? I mean, that's pretty good if you're outsourcing, because make $40 to literally send it to somebody is not bad. Oh, your boss gets the rest. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of shitty. I'd say if you're doing a majority of the work, I would hope you get paid a little more than that. Especially since we see touch ICs pretty regularly. Alright, so I'm going to build up some solder on my tip here. I don't want to press down against the board because it's going to make the solder puff out from the sides. I just want to kind of glide it along and pick up all the old solder. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not pressing against the board. I'm not like mashing down against it or anything, or trying to scrub the board or anything. I'm literally using the solder that's on the bottom of the iron to kind of flush out the old solder and pick up and put down some leaded for the wicking process we're about to do. I would say if you're charging $150 and my tech was doing all the work and I didn't have to do anything, I'd probably pay him probably about $50 per job. I mean, so it's not terrible, but at the same time, it sucks to only get $40 for it. I mean, I guess it depends on how fast you are. If you're really quick at it, $40 can be really good. You can do several of them in an hour. Should take about 20 minutes if you're good at them. Alright, let's get rid of some of these fibers. I guess it's also relative to if your boss can do the job you're doing or not. First, damn it. You didn't even get the T in, Alex. You just got the fur. Fur. I got fur. Alright, so I'm going to turn my airspeed down a little bit for the wicking process, just because I don't want to keep pumping heat into the board to prevent any possible issues that may occur from that. Alright, so we're going to put some flux down. We're going to get our fancy tweezers. Kind of like fancy ketchup. Special sauce, fancy sauce. Can't have any of my fancy sauce. Okay, so we're heating that leaded solder up and just touching the wick against it. The wick will suck up everything you need it to. You don't have to sit there and press and sit there and struggle with it. It'll come up easy enough. Okay, all that's done. We got a few left here. We got one right there. Hot on the fingers. Woo! Real hot on the fingers. Still feel that one. Okay, got that one cleaned up. Alright, we got one more here in the center. Don't need to be a perfectionist, but we'll clean that one up. So we'll let that cool. I don't want to touch it while it's hot. Don't want to lose our baseband either. Set that off to the side. I'm going to run the jumpers next, and then we will reball our IC and put it back on, and then put our SIM card on and test. Alright, so that seems to be cooled off enough. Let's scrub down the area a little bit. It'll help if I got some acetone on here. So just wiping flux around. Alright, so I'll turn the exposure down there. You can see our baseband area now is nice and clean. Pads are all relatively flat. Our SIM tray pads are flat, so it's time to run our jumper wires. Well, at least he pitched in on it, I guess. So that's nice. Alright. So what we're going to do here is we're going to scrape back our test point, or our vias. Not our test point, but our vias first. The reason I do this is because I like to lay the wire across the via over to the actual pad, so that there's some extra strength just to kind of hold that wire in place while we're placing baseband. Okay, and then we're going to go up here. I need to check ZXW, but I'm pretty sure this is our pad right there. Let me check ZXW. That should be the GPS sync line. Alright, for some reason the computer in the back is showing me a blank screen. Why? There we go. Alright, so iPhone 6 Plus. Alright, let's check our test point. Okay. Yep, that's it. So GPS sync line is this pad right here. So we're going to go ahead and scrape it back. We'll just do the via on the test point here. That should be plenty good enough. Plus help keep the solder bulb a little smaller. Alright, so I've got some thinner wire that I'm going to use. These are some stepper motor wire that I pulled off of a Volvo gauge cluster, which is kind of specific, but it's much thinner than what I have. It's like a step thinner than what I have. It's really fine. It's still a coated wire, so it's not conductive, but it gives a much finer wire, so we got less of a bump there. I don't know what gauge this is. I would guess it's close to 50. You can buy 50 gauge, but this was free, so I like free. Okay. So we're going to come down here to where our GPS sync line is, and we want to tin these vias. Alright, and then I'm going to leave a little slack. Alrighty. So we want this to go in between these two where the shield's going to cover. We don't want that shield to cut our line or anything. And now I'm going to direct this line onto the pad, and I'm going to solder it to the pad. Well, if I can keep it down. There we go. Alright, so now it's soldered to the pad, and we can cut it. It was making me blind there.
What?
The focus in my eyepieces was making me cross-eyed. Alright, so we got our pad soldered to. We're going to cut right after the pad. Okay. We got our line cut. We'll set it over here to the side. Maybe we can use that for our jumper to our other test point. So we want to take that. Let's see if it's long enough. It may be. Yeah, it should be plenty long. Can we get a rest in peace in chat for the coil? Yeah, pretty much it is a coil. It's electromagnetic coil.
Alright, keyboard's working, it's back in.
Sweet Micah, you're the besticles.
I know, I'm the best friend. Alright, I gotta go. I gotta go all the way to Evans County.
What are you doing in Evans County, bro?
I gotta do brakes on the vehicle for my dad.
Hey Micah, while you're there, can you do brakes on your mom? Because I beat the brakes off of him. Yes! You got dominated. Buffering. Yeah, this is from the Volvo stepper motor. Reuse, repurpose, right?
Let's get a whole spool of water.
Yeah, but not this thin. This stuff is thin.
Let's get a whole spool of water. Waste not one. Waste not one. That copper could have stayed in the ground.
Alright, let's feed our little jumper wire through. I don't know why you're buffering. It shouldn't be buffering on anybody's. I have 0 dropped frames, so that's definitely your connection.
That's what they get for going to their garage and beating off while trying to watch you work. Can't go that far away.
Micah, you know how to talk to people.
I do know how to talk to people. That's
You know the best words.
Tablet.
You know the best words.
I do. I told that lady, hey, when I use this tablet to go out in the garage and
Beat off to Chris's streams.
beat off to Chris' streams, you can do it. Not like this other guy's gonna be here buffering.
Chuck, he's talking shit to you, bro. He said your Wi-Fi signal's weak in your garage where you'd be beating off. You already got a fucking Micah. Alright, so let's... Alright, so that's soldered down. Let's break this wire loose. Damn, it breaks loose easy. Be gentle, boys. Be gentle. You getting paid, Mike, or you just leaving?
I'm getting paid. Well, yeah, past 7.
Okay. Turn the light off. We're not Motel 6. We won't keep the light on for you. Alright, so I'm going to clean up my excessive flux here.
Money. Give me money.
I give you $2.
Give me money. Or I'll bring you death.
I'll give you $2. You're going to get those Chinese slave wages, bro. What you think this is? So I'm just taking my tweezers and just kind of flatten that line down so it's not too intrusive. Alright, let me add you up here, Micah. You got big money today.
Where the fuck am I?
Dang, Micah. You got all the monies today. There you go, buddy.
Man. Woo! Where the fuck did I put my lighter?
I don't know. You're sitting over here, Wayne.
I'm sitting over here, but I don't know if I have my lighter over here. Shit.
Shit on a turtle!
I have nicotine fits.
You're having nicotine fits right now.
Nicotine fits.
Why? You got money? You can go buy you some lighters.
I don't spend money on lighters. I've had a lighter.
Like beggars can't be choosers. I think you should stop at Kroger and get one of those big ass fucking.
No, I found it. It's in my pocket all the time.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I think you should get one of those big ass lighters that have the long ass handles on them. I would vote for that. Actually, I kind of want you to get that and you have to carry it around. What if I promised to buy you a lighter anytime you needed one?
But I'd only need one once every other year until I lost it. Got drunk and lost it.
Meth is a hell of a drug.
What? I don't do that.
Meth's a hell of a drug, man. Let's see, Chris, would you say the only thing faster than my internet is Micah's mom? However, I don't know him in real life, and that seems harsh.
His mom's pretty quick.
The only thing quicker than Micah's mom is how fast I deny that baby. Alright, man. I'll see you tomorrow. You're sick. Alright, man. Waiting for this to cure. It's quiet in here now. Just the hum of my fan and the hum of my hot air. Me curing some fucking shit. Alright. Y'all can see most of the work I'm doing on the microscope right now. Y'all can see my pretty face. Next on Maury. You are not the father. And then I have to do a crazy ass dance. Alright, so those should be cured. Get yourself a Keurig. I love that fucking light. It is bright as shit and it cures fast. Alright, so we need to clean the flux up over here. Almost out of acetone again. Need to refill my bottle. Okay. Oakley dokley. Clean up all this shit. Got some extra solder on there. Alright. Don't do drugs, smoke weed. True, don't do drugs. Drugs are bad for you, okay? Drugs are bad, okay? Alright, let's reball our baseband. I'm just going to kind of flatten those out some. I want to make sure that the SIM tray is fairly level. Last time we had problems with the SIM tray, I think where I was dicking with it may have caused some problems, so I haven't had issues before, but that one just gave me fits. So I'm going to snag the SIM tray off this one if it's not fucked already. Let's see. Let's see if the SIM tray goes in and out smooth. If it does, it'll be alright. Don't be alright. Yeah, that light's fucking badass. Again, somebody at the Nashville event had that, and I was like, I'm getting that. The thing cures in like a quarter of the time. Alright, so it goes in, comes out, goes back in, comes out, goes back in again, then it comes out again, and you can plug it in again, and then you can unplug it again. I might grab a different one. That one's has seen a little heat, so This one has not. So let's put some flux down. Kenna, what are you doing? Kenna, what are you doing? You back there being Snoopy? Huh? You being Snoop? I see you back there, snooping around. Alright, so hopefully we'll take our time on this one, since we know we're not gonna have to worry about too much heat, because I don't give a shit at this one. We're gonna get this fucker hot so it slides right off. It's getting there. Solder's starting to melt. I can see it. It may be ready to come off. Let's see. Yep, there we go. So we got that SIM tray off. Let it cool for a second. Hotness. Hotness. Kenna cam. Let's see. Let's see if we can catch Kenna. Kenna! There's Kenna. Say hi to the internet, Kenna. Hi to the internet. Yeah? A little sneezing? Kenna likes to sneeze. It's her favorite pastime. It's funny, she gets in these habits and she wants to, like whenever she does something, there's habits that she'll sneeze while doing. And one of those is when we get home, right before I let her out of the car, so she can go run in the yard for a minute. She always has to sneeze before I open the door. But sometimes she doesn't actually have to sneeze. Well, I don't think she does most of the time, but sometimes she can't sneeze, so she just kind of forces it. She's just like, and I'm like, okay, you didn't do anything, but alright. And then she just looks at me like, shut up. She's a pretty funny dog. Alrighty, let's do some soldering. So, as you can see with our thinner wire, we sit down pretty flush. It's a little raised. See, I don't even think that that's the... I don't know what's causing that. Like, that, there's no way that wire is that thick that it's holding it up that high. I don't know. But let's go ahead and tack it down into place. We have cats too. She likes cats also. She's lived her whole life with them. Her whole life is revolved around cats. They're like the friends she never wanted. I'd like to get this SIM tray offset as much as I can towards the baseband, just to give myself as much room on the top side as I can. Okay, got that side of it tacked down. See if I can get my tweezers in there. Yeah, she's pretty old. She likes to come to the shop though every day. If I don't take her, she gets upset. She doesn't really do anything here. She just kind of lays around, but she likes coming to the shop. She's to a point now where she doesn't really try to play with them anymore. She used to when she was younger, and now she's more reserved. She's an old gal. She likes to lay around, be lazy. Now it's more so the cats bug her than anything else. One of our cats loves to rub up against her all the time, and I think it like weirds her out. Because she just kind of walks away from him, like, stop doing that. It's like, look, it's ruining her street cred. Pretty boy Chris. Psh, psh. Paul Daniels. Or as I like to call him, Paul Daniels. The Daniels. I don't know if I want to bother with trying to fucking solder that shit down or what. Alright, let's get in here and solder these pins. If we can. Oh yeah. Need to add a little more solder. To Jack? I don't like Jack. I like Paul Daniels. I like to say it with the Daniels though. Not Daniels. Daniels. Jack Daniels sauce. That's the only reason you want to change it back, so it's a cool name. Jack Daniels. What's the name? Jack Daniels. But if you change your name to Jack, then you're going to have to redo your whole product line. You can't be PDD. Or whatever it is. PLD. Alright, so let's put a little flux down there to help promote this one to solder. Put a little bit more on the teeps. Just the teeps. Come on, baby. Take it. Take it all, girl. Get in there. Don't be a bridge to your friend. I think if your excuse for changing your name is because there's a bunch of people with the same name, then you should just not worry about it. There's a lot of people with the same name. There's a lot of people that have the name Chris. I was talking to Ashley the other day about names for a baby. I said if we have a boy, I want to name my child Richard, because short for Richard is Dick, and that way my kid's name will be Dick Long, and it will read on the attendance roll, long dick. But then at the same time, my child would be then tortured for the rest of his life. Maybe he could go by the name Rich. Lynn, stop. Is that so you can just say their name and they'll stop doing what they're doing? Lingston. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if you name your kid Lynn, stop. Is that so you can just yell at him all the time? Somebody talking about Micro Oberdick? Yeah. Oberdick has disappeared from the social network, man. He must either be busy or crying, one or the other. Or miss him. Come back to us, Oberdick. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. I'm alone. I'm just so lost without you. Baby, come back. Alright, that slides in and out nice and smooth. A partner? Nah. Oberdick's single faux life, bro. Well, not faux life, but once he's a multi-millionaire, then he won't be single anymore. Alright, so we got the baseband cleaned up. I hope he still at least gets on every now and then and checks out YouTube videos. He and Summer ran off to the Bahamas. Should have to get a divorce. Or Sunday. It's Sunday, isn't it? It's not summer. Damn, son. Sunday. Yeah, Tesla style. The distractions of the flesh. Alright, so let's grab our steam sail. Need to turn the exposure down. Oh, Long Johnson. Hey Paul, how many subs you at now? I'm at 1421. I'm gonna catch you. I'm gonna catch you. What do you think's gonna happen, Paul? I'll pass you in subs or you'll get your microscope. Which will be quicker? People should get a divorce. My sister's ex didn't. I don't get it. Is he still married and she's not? Yeah, those are fighting words, Chuck. Laying them down. Should I do pre-made balls or should I do paste? I'm gonna do pre-made balls. Last time I did paste, I had too much problems with it and it really pissed me off. So let's do some pre-made. So I'm gonna put a little flux on the chip just to help promote our nice shiny balls to sit down. Let's get her lined up here. That the flux will also kind of help keep it where it should be. Over the top excited or emotional man cry? I hope you do emotional man cry. We want to see the true Paul Daniels. Alright, here come my little tiny balls. Hopefully not too many of them. Alright, it should be enough. Alright, so how many stuck to my finger and how many actually went in the hole they were supposed to? That's always the problem with pre-mades. They never seem to go in the hole. So the majority of them I have to sit here and put into place. Cause see, they get some flux on themselves and then they all clump up. Let me see if I can pour one more time. I'm going to use my tweezers to kind of shuttle them around. Maybe that'll help. Maybe it won't. I don't know. No, it's not helping at all. Well, that did. There we go. Alright, let's get all these extras off out of the way. All the balls. Paul, I can't wait to see the frustration you're gonna have when you start doing micro soldering. It's a learning curve, and it is not gentle sometimes. It frustrates the hell out of me still. To this day. Still pisses me off. Like when I do things exactly how they should be done and they don't work the way they should, it really frustrates me. Like that iPhone 6 that I did the other day. No idea what the fuck I did wrong with it. But it sure as hell doesn't want to work for me. Tried everything I can. Everything that would make sense at least. I think I need to clean my tips. They're sticking to my solder balls. Okay, I'm gonna try to get all these placed and then reflow it, but if not, if some of them are giving me problems, I like to go ahead and just reflow the ones I have down. That way I don't have to worry about any problems like such where it won't come off my tweezers. It's like two extremes here. It either won't come off my tweezers or it won't stick to them at all. Like, just come off there. Okay, I shifted the stencil there, but it should be right now. Okay. Everybody looks like they have a ball except one here. Let me get that last one. And I got an extra ball over there, I see. Alright, I'm going to turn my airspeed down on my big nozzle, because I don't want these fucking falling out of the hole. I'm just going to come in and slowly heat them up. Okay, they're starting to drop. Okay, those center ones are not doing what they're supposed to. Kind of scares me. Because when that happens, they tend to bridge over to other pads, which I do not want. Let me see if I can add a little flux to help promote some of these to fall into place. Let's see if I can reposition to the center some. Alright, still a lot of them aren't seated. And the stencil shifted now. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out if I can now, or if I fucked it all. Yeah, I've lifted a shit ton of them. Alright, paste it is. Fuck this shit. That's why I don't like pre-mades, man. They just don't want to fucking sit down sometimes. They're just fucking annoying. Now the pre-mades are much more consistent reball, but fuck all that noise. That shit just annoys the piss out of me. So we're gonna take this and clean it back up. Get rid of all that solder. Make sure our stencil's clean. We're gonna do the old faithful paste. Bam, 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 bam. Girlfriend is messaging me. Send her a message back. Alright, so that one was unsuccessful, so we're going to do the old paste, because paste seems to never let me down. I got a ball stuck in there. No, thank you. Get out of here. Paste is my friend. Alright, so let's grab us some paste here. Let's align our stencil appropriately. Okay. This paste is a little wetter than I want it to be. I like it to be fairly dry when I do these larger ICs, just because of the surface area that I have to do. Let's see how that does. We're going to stay away on this one for a while. We want that flux to, see the flux coming out of it? Alright. It's reballed. Let's let it cool. Okay, we have some that aren't on their pads still. We're going to do a second reflow to see if we can get those to sit down. Okay, still have some that aren't sitting down. Let's see if the no pressure will get them to seat. Got some of those to seat. Just kind of agitating the surface there can get some of them to sit down that don't want to normally. We've got, looks like 4 that just do not want to sit down. It's always something. As much as I clean the pads and stuff, they just still, there's something on them, contaminants or something that do it. Squeezing paste between toilet paper dry? Maybe. I've seen people use the hot air on a low temperature to kind of boil the flux out, which seems like a good idea to me. Let's put some more flux down here. I don't want to keep heating this chip back up, but alright, that one took. Alright, I'm just going to leave it at that. If there's some that aren't good, we will do them by hand. I don't want to keep heating this chip up though. I can still see 2 or 3 that aren't seated. Maybe more. 3 for sure though. Alright, let's push this out of the stencil. Okay, let's see who didn't sit down. So we got 2 that I can see. I'm sure there will be more once we go to reflow this. Alright, seems like it's only 2. We got 1 ball up here that bridged with the spare ball that was on the stencil. So I'm going to take that one off too because I don't want any high spots, and I'll put my own solder ball back on. Yeah, I do pretty well at reballing. Lewis doesn't like reballing, and one of the reasons I think is because the stencil he has is so fucking small. It tends to be harder to work with when the stencils are real small like that. But at the same time, I don't think there's many options as far as the SMC goes. And the amount of stuff that I've reballed, I've probably reballed a lot more than Lewis has. Mostly because of necessity for Touch IC. I've reballed a shit ton of Touch IC mason chips. Okay. I need 1 more. Alright, everybody's got a ball now. So let's scrub our IC to make sure we get rid of any type of contaminants. Come back here, Chip. Hopefully we have an overheated baseband. Baseband can take quite a bit of heat. Alright, let's look down the side of the chip and look for any high points, any low points. They look pretty consistent. There's some slight variation, but nothing that I would be concerned with. Alright, so let's put our baseband IC back on. This is probably the most tedious part of the whole repair, because if you get this off just a little bit, you're going to have to pull it back off, and you're going to have to redo all the reballing, which sucks, and sometimes it is necessary. So I like to try to feel the spots where the chip should sit. Okay, so that feels like it's sitting about where it should be. I'm just going to press it down into place a little, and then I want to hold it with my tweezers in place. And I'm going to heat this up until the flux kind of boils out from under the IC. Probably would help if I turn my airspeed up. I'm using a fairly large nozzle too right now. Make sure that this is right. Yeah, it feels right. It'll self-align it when it's ready, but I like to try to get it as close as I can, because any shifting can cause you to bridge. Now it's going to shift some as it sits into place. The center has more ground than the outside, so you need to make sure the center of the IC is heated well. Alright, it should be melted now. It didn't shift at all, so that's good. Okay, yeah, it's set down. We didn't really get any shifting at all, so that's good. Okay, look across the IC. I'm looking at the top of the filters at the bottom there to see if the chip is consistently laying across in the right position. It seems good as far as being level, so we know the chip is sitting down on the pads evenly across. I'm going to add a little bit of acetone to help cool this off real fast. I gotta be careful, I'm going to end up fucking my jumper there. I forgot I've got quite a bit of slack in that line. So my bristles there grabbed it. I don't want to break that though. That would be bad at this point. Okay, let's make sure it's still good. Yeah, it's fine. Still one piece. Let's move this over. There we go. Alright, so now we need to check our power caps. All the caps are on baseband for shorts. Okay. Now as this cools, any low resistance readings will come up. We don't have any dead shorts, so that's a good sign. I'm going to cool this off a little more. I'm going to scrub down below my line so I don't hit them. Alright, so let's move our wire. Kind of want to get the wire in a certain position, so I'm gonna. Okay, that's how I want it to sit. Now let's test and see if this phone turns on still. It should, but the last one didn't, so we'll find out. I like to do testing before I fully reassemble it, just so if there's any problems we'll know. B and C. Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 Okay, most likely from you were using it when it died? Okay, there was no type of drop or anything that caused it? Okay. Okay. It sounds to me that you may just have a faulty component on the board that caused the board to it probably shorted it out to where it can't get any power where it needs. If that's the case, something like that for data recovery, you'd probably be looking at about $100. That would return the phone to full functioning order if it's just something like that. If it's anything else, we would call you beforehand, but that would be my rough estimate. Based on what you're saying, I would guess that you had some type of component on the board that just failed, and that $100 would cover that. Now, if there's anything else, we would let you know beforehand. They can. They don't normally make the phone die while it's on, but they can cause it to where the phone, when it goes dead, like the battery dies on it, that the phone will not charge back up due to that chip being damaged from cheap chargers. Usually do it, cheap wall bricks, just like the really cheap stuff, like $5 stuff. What you want to look for is anything that has a MFI certification, which is Apple's certification for their chargers. Okay, those are both good brands. It shouldn't have any problems with those. Some boards just randomly shut off. We see it every day. Yeah, we actually did one today that was the same thing. It had a random short on the board. We found it, removed it, the phone works again. Usually 1 to 2 days tops. Okay. Yes. No. Okay. Yes, ma'am. It'll be done. Do you have a PayPal account? Okay, yeah, that's fine. We have a credit card machine here, so we can just run it through. Yes, ma'am. Okay. That I'm not sure of. I don't think that it erases anything, but I'm not sure how it would react with another phone. You should be able to restore just your contacts. You can select what you want to restore. I just don't know how it will interact with anything else. Yeah. I don't think you should have any issues as far as syncing your contacts. Just I don't want to tell you one thing and it be wrong either. It'll be if you restore your contacts, it'll be to the device it's signed into. So any device that it's signed into. You'll have to sign in on the phone that you're using so that it'll restore to that phone. I mean, what type of restore are you doing there? You should be able to go, if you're talking about through iCloud backup, you should be able to go into iCloud.com and look and see what's there. As far as anything with AT&T, I'm not sure. Okay. 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 Yeah. Well, I would definitely try to do so. Okay. You're welcome. No problem. Bye. Alright, so it looks like TriStar's dead on this one. I plugged it in before I tried to boot it, and it didn't do anything. And then the phone doesn't boot up. It just hangs on the Apple logo, so I'm fairly confident that TriStar is fucked, just based on the symptoms. So I'm going to go ahead and replace TriStar real quick. Hopefully that's all it is. This would be 2 boards in a row if I have any problems that I would be baffled as to why. See, I mean, you can see there around the NAND, we don't have any solder balls poking out there. Nothing around these caps. The only chip that really ever has any problems is TriStar, because it's so close to the edge there, right near baseband, and it's underfilled. So I'm gonna hope that's it. It is definitely not talking. When I plugged in my charger, it didn't bounce up at all. So I know it's not responding to TriStar properly. And TriStar definitely can keep it from turning on. So let's go ahead and replace TriStar real quick. Okay, I'll turn my brightness up. Put a little bit of flux down. That wasn't the most graceful TriStar. We got components stuck in this underfill, and now they shot off into space. We'll grab those off another board. This one had quite a bit of underfill on it, more so than usual. Some of them have minuscule amounts, and some of them have a lot. I assume it's just a random manufacturing process, so it's not always the most consistent. But we'll go ahead and tin up our pads with some leaded. Alright, those are tinned up. Let's clean it off real quick. Alright, let's grab a donor board. This one will be perfect. See, that's what I'm talking about. Look at the fucking underfill on that one. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, this is also a 6 Plus. Same fucking thing. The chip has literally nothing on it. Like, that's the amount of underfill it has. And then on mine, it's got like 78 tons of underfill on it. Okay. Set the component on the board there while we refocus. I'm going to put some flux down because that'll keep our chip from flying away into the abyss, known as my table. Okay, let's go back to the other board, snag our 2 capacitors off here. Okay, same thing again. Get our caps off. We're going to lay the heat to them. That one is just wanting to try to stick to the bigger cap. I don't want that to happen, so pull them back. Alright. Those caps are back on now. Let's go ahead and clean that out a little. Let's put a new TriStar on it. The 610 model, which is the newer of the TriStars. So that's the 610 A3B. I don't know if there's any like are the filters by the baseband chip off killer there, or is it still soldered onto the pads? Which ones are you talking about? Okay, your TriStar's on. The 3 black ones beside each other, next to baseband. Let's see. Which ones are you talking about? We got a solder ball there. Need to get that out. I got a resistor there, I got one there, I got one there. 2 caps, these all look normal. Here's a board that I pulled, well, not that one. I got a board that I pulled baseband off of that has all the components still on it. This is one that I've done before, just messing around to test it. It's got all the same components. I mean, I've taken some caps off, but looks the same. North of the chip? What did the there's nothing north of the chip. It's a fucking SIM tray. I don't know what you're talking about. You talking about up here? The EEPROM? Alright, let's see what this does. If TriStar is now working or not. Offsets capped by the screw hole. It's not a... You're talking about this right there? That's... or there. Those three. Or four. Or whatever the fuck they are. I mean, nothing's missing, if that's what you're asking. I don't know what else you're asking than that. Be more precise in your wording. Because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, it's normal? Okay. Well, let's see if TriStar is normal now. Because it wasn't earlier. Yep, TriStar is normal now. So let's see if this thing will boot up properly now. Or if I got other issues. Which if I have other issues, I'm going to be kind of sad. Because I'll have to change something I'm doing. I'm doing something different if I fucked up 2 boards. And I don't want to fuck up boards. I mean, these are done knowing that there's a chance it won't work, so. But I don't want to return non-working boards over and over. Especially since that looks shitty on me. Although that's the first, I think that's the first baseband I've ever done that didn't turn back on. Especially since baseband's just not really close to that. I guess I could try it with the short GPS jumper, but I don't think that's, I think that's part of the problem. Is keeping that short jumper instead of having both of them long. Unfortunately, that's the only area you can catch the GPS sync line, other than under the CPU. I'm not even sure if the GPS sync line is really needed, but how did the customer react? I mean, I don't know. I told them their option was I can try to fix it, or they're just going to have to go to Apple and get a new phone. So I guess they're just going to have to go to Apple and get a new phone. That's about all I can do at that point. Alright, let's see if this thing will boot up now. Help if I press the power button. So we got an Apple logo. Let's see if it'll actually boot. Last time it just said on the Apple logo and then looped. We'll see if that TriStar was keeping it from turning on. I suspect it was. What's up, Lisa? Please boot up. Yay, it booted up. So that's what it was. Let's TriStar. Let's see if we get signal. Close. We need to plug it in because it's almost dead. Alright, it's charging. Let's see if it'll get signal. Usually takes a minute when they first boot up. Sometimes it'll say searching and then get LTE but still say searching. But okay, so it just went to SIM not detected. That was odd. It saw the SIM and then it said it didn't see the SIM. So let's see why it didn't see the SIM. Well, it said no SIM when I ejected it that time. That was odd. So it went to no SIM, but it didn't tell me there was no SIM in. Then when I ejected the SIM, it said no SIM. So let's turn airplane mode on and then off. It still says no SIM. So let's see if we have an issue with one of our pins. I had one that the pins kind of drooped down like these pins and caused issues. All those are soldered well, so let me turn the screen off there for a second. I'm going to grab these pins and just kind of bend them up. Make sure they're touching well. Alright, let's retry that. Sucks without the screen, and the SIM card tends to slide back on you. Okay, so it's still saying no SIM. Let me see if our SIM detect line is getting power. That's here on the SIM tray itself. Yeah, it has 1.8 volts. Why you no see SIM? Let's see if our modem firmware and shit's there. That would be a good thing to check. Yeah, modem firmware is there. IMEI is there. Let's see, SEID. See, it's got all the information there. Why you no read SIM? I mean, I'm fairly confident in the soldering of that SIM tray. Let's see if a different SIM does the same thing. Yeah, the SIM tray is sitting flush. The pins are all soldered down, and it's getting voltage on the SIM detect line. I don't see those being any of the issues. Let me do a hard reset on it real quick. Let that reboot. Yeah, I swapped in a different card just then to see. Oh, Paul's here. What's up, Paul? Sore but no pain. Awesome. I like to hear that, man. Pain bad. Sore okay. Alright. Do you see the SIM card? Still sees no SIM. Alright, so... well, I guess it wouldn't because the SIM wasn't in there all the way. What changed? Why did you go from searching to no SIM? Okay, so it's the tray. The tray is just not holding the card down. So I'm pressing on it, it says searching now. So I'm going to eject this one. I'm going to use my Verizon SIM. The Verizon SIM, even though it's not active, it still will pull signal. So I like to always use it, because no matter, I don't have to really worry about if the tray or if the SIM is good. I know it'll read. No service. Let's see if that switches. Did I plug in my bottom antenna? I did. Usually it'll go to no service, and then a few seconds later it should pop up a signal if it's going to get it. Give it a second. It doesn't get the strongest signal in here, usually about 1 bar, so I like to give it a minute to kind of simmer and see if it's going to pull signal. Searching, searching, searching. I don't know if this one's gonna work. May not. Not every no service or searching is baseband, but most of them tend to be, at least in my experience. But right now this one seems like it's doing the same old two-step. Same old no service searching. Let's make sure our modem firmware is still there. Yep, it's still there. So I suspect that this one may be something else. Man, I'm looking good on stream. 2 back-to-back that won't work. Like the cellular options come up immediately as soon as I plug it in. Okay, it sees that the SIM is out. Okay. Now let's press the SIM card down and push it in. So it goes immediately to no service, which is the same symptoms we had before. With the curse, yeah. That's the thing, like I get kind of like disheartened and stuff when I can't fix things, but I think that's the persona that's kind of portrayed on YouTube from some repair. Like you kind of get that stuck in your mind when you watch these how to fix videos, and you kind of get this preset in your mind that, well, if I do this it should work, but this one is not. Now there are other chips that can cause this to happen. There's some transceiver chips that can cause issues like this. There's a switching IC that can cause this. Maybe one of the other signal lines is down and it's causing issues or something like that. It's hard to say. I may change out the switching IC and then also change the transceivers and see if anything changes. But yeah, it seems like this one's still doing the same thing, even with the jumpers. So I'm pretty confident to say that it's not baseband related. Unless I overheated baseband, which I don't think I did because we have a modem firmware reporting back. If baseband wasn't working, we wouldn't have a modem firmware at all. I'm just flicking it off and on a few times just to make sure. Yep, just keeps going back to no service. So I'll call it for the night, and then tomorrow I'll pick this one back up and we'll do the switching IC, and we will do the transceiver chips and see if anything changes. And last case scenario, we'll reball baseband again and see maybe our reball was bad, maybe something isn't right there. And then if we really get desperate, we can change out all the different antenna ICs. They're fairly easy to do. Most of them are ground plane. That's about it. So Greg, what do you mean? When I fix them, they just come up with signal right away. This one, it's still saying, I don't know if you can see it. Focus on there. See, it still says no service. So even with the baseband reball, this one still says no service. I'm going to go over and check the SIM too when we work on it tomorrow. So maybe we'll have the conclusion tomorrow, or maybe it'll just be what it is. Maybe it's just not meant to be. Let me put some pressure on some of these and see if it changes. I'm going to apply some pressure to the switching IC. See if it gets any signal. So no change there. Let's press on baseband. See if maybe there's just a cold joint under it. Maybe some pressure will help solve that cold joint. Still no service. So I really don't think it's baseband related anymore. The reball went pretty much perfectly, unless there's a cold joint because one of them wouldn't attach or something. Brandon, thanks, man. I feel better. I don't feel down. We did I didn't do much streaming today, but we did a shit ton of board repairs today. I think we did a total of 9 board repairs today, not including this one. So that's 10, plus we did like 6 screen replacements, MacBook repair, actually 2 MacBook repairs. The office looks different. No, it's the same. Tim, you got here at the end. I'm getting off, buddy. But we'll pick it up tomorrow and see if we can't get it working. If it leaves the same way that it came in, what can you say? Sorry, Rodrigo. Most of the time, what time is it for you right now, Rodrigo? I'll tell you what time I'm normally on. Tim's been busy. That's why I wasn't here. That'd be pretty cool, Tim. I don't know shit about radar stuff. It's 10:20. Okay. So you're 2 hours ahead of me then. So, Rodrigo, if you check in around, say, 4 o'clock your time, that's usually when I'm on. So, check that out. Well, everybody, have a good night. Paul Daniels, good to see you, buddy. Paul, glad you're not in any pain. And Tim, good to see you. Everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for all the regulars. And I will see you all tomorrow. I should have my second camera tomorrow too, so we'll be able to see here and here. This area, the ugly face, the ugly workspace. So you'll get ugly workspace, ugly face. You get those two together. So I will see you all tomorrow. Everybody have a good night and stay out of trouble, because we need you here, not in jail. Later.